You know, before he was Andy's favorite toy, he was in Andy's favorite movie. Now it's time to discover the story behind the toy. Disney and Pixar's Lightyear. It's a sci-fi action adventure and the definitive origin story of Buzz Lightyear, the hero who inspired the toy. Lightyear follows the legendary space ranger voiced by Chris Evans on an intergalactic adventure alongside a group of really ambitious recruits. Lightyear releases in theaters on June 17th, and joining us now for a chance to win a family 4-pack to the advanced screening on June 15th is 9-year-old Bane, who's going to be playing with me and Bill.
Yeah, an 8-year-old Cooper from a galaxy 64 billion light years away, but here by special order, and we're going to win this one today. I'm with Cooper, and we're gonna take you on,
Awesome.
George.
All right, we're going to start the questions. Hey, Bane, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, question number 1 for you, Bane, is complete Buzz Lightyear's famous catchphrase, "To infinity and..."
Beyond.
Correct.
Oh.
Correct,
Okay.
Bane.
That was impressive, but Cooper, we got this. Okay, deep breath. True or false? True or false? Emperor Zurg is Buzz Lightyear's enemy. True or false?
True.
Awesome, you got that
Nice.
one.
All right, 1 for 1.
Got it.
All right, here's your second question, Bane. Under Buzz Lightyear's astronaut helmet, what color is his head cap?
Purple.
Bingo. Bingo.
All right,
I didn't even
all
have to
right.
give you the options. You got it without even
I
telling.
like that. I think you're going to get this one too, Cooper. True or false? True or false? Buzz's space uniform is mostly made up of green, white, and purple colors. Is that true or false?
True.
Ah, true. You
All
knew
right.
this one. You absolutely
Okay,
knew
Bane.
this one.
Number 3, Bane. Buzz has many abilities to protect himself and his friends from danger. Which one of these is not one of his abilities? Cannon, flight, lasers, or martial arts?
Cannon.
Correct, Bane.
Wow.
3 for 3, kid.
Okay. My cousin Chris would get this right off the bat, but I know you could get this one too. Who is the voice actor of Buzz Lightyear in the new Lightyear movie? Is it Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, Chris Evans, or Bill Coulter?
Bill Coulter.
That is very close, but I think my cousin Chris would give you another chance to get this one. So let's go over. Is it Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, Chris Evans, or Bill Coulter?
Chris.
Oh, you got it!
Yeah.
Oh, man, I knew you'd get this. I knew you'd get it on the second try, no problem. But thanks for putting me up there.
Okay, Bane. Next question for Bane is, where is Buzz Lightyear from? A distant galaxy, the moon, Mars, or Toronto?
Distant galaxy.
Correct.
Whoa, you guys are knocking this out of
Guys are good.
the universe. Okay, Cooper, you ready for this one? Buzz Lightyear is known as which of the following? Is he a space defender? Is he a space ranger? A space ranger. Okay, or is he a space explorer or a space soldier? Okay, I'll give those to you again. Space defender, space ranger, space explorer, or space soldier?
Ranger.
Yes, that's right
Ding,
in your
ding,
range,
ding.
right in your wheelhouse, buddy.
Okay,
Good job.
young fellas, we've run out of time, so doing a quick tabulation here, I can see that you're both winners. Bane and Cooper.
You are going,
You're
Bane,
going
you
to
are
see
going.
it. Yes, sir. Yes, very happy. Both of you are going with a family 4-pack to see Lightyear at Scotiabank Arena, just around the corner from us, on June 15th. 2 full days ahead of everybody else. But get this, Bill,
Yeah.
Cooper, Bane. Bane and Cooper aren't the only two that are going to attend the advanced screening of Lightyear,
What?
June 15 at Scotiabank Theatre. No,
Huh?
because we have another 8. That's right, 8 family 4-packs to give away.
Man.
All you got to do out there watching us right now is answer this skill testing question. What is the number on Buzz Lightyear's Star Cruiser? What's the number on Buzz's Lightyear's Star Cruiser? So email your answer to contest@cp24.com. Give us your name, phone number, and a producer will contact you if you have won. Bane, Bill, Cooper, good work, all of you.
Woo!
Thanks very much for joining us, fellas.
Yay!
You're winners. Have
To
fun at the
infinity and
movies.
beyond.
And have a good day at school. Okay, it's time for headlines.
Thanks, Cooper. Thanks, Bane.
In other news we've been following the last couple of weeks, it was just last week, in fact, that Justin Bieber postponed 3 shows, including a couple right here in Toronto. And we're learning more about what forced the singer to step away.
In a post on Instagram, the 28-year-old shared pictures and revealed he'd been diagnosed with Ramsey Hunt syndrome. The rare neurological disorder is characterized by partial paralysis of the face. The Canadian Medical Association Journal says Ramsey Hunt syndrome has an annual incidence rate of 3.2 to 4.2 cases per 1,000.
Now, former politician Olivia Chow shared her support for Bieber in a tweet, writing, "I know Ramsey Hunt syndrome can be devastating. I had it in 2012, wishing Justin Bieber well, and do know that the 5 facial nerves will grow back. Keep doing the facial exercises so the brain will assist in the recovery."
Olivia Chow, Executive Director of the Institute for Change Leaders and former MP, joins us live now on CP24 Breakfast. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing that very personal tweet about what you experienced with Ramsey Hunt syndrome back in 2012. We know that this can be brought on by stress. Do you remember at that point in your life what you think might have triggered your case?
Oh, yes, I do. It's shocking. And you remember, I woke up in the morning and all of a sudden my face wouldn't move. It was really strange. And half of my face, just one of my eyes couldn't close. The mouth was paralyzed. I couldn't smile at all. It was just like, ooh, scary, right? My late husband, Jack Layton, passed away the year before. Wow. I overworked myself. I was a member of parliament then. I tried to do all the things he used to do and some more. And the first year I had pneumonia. Then I didn't learn my lessons. My body was saying, stop, stop, stop. I just kept at it. And by December, it was a very busy fall. By December, it just boom. And I had a sore in my ear for a few days. I was in Ottawa. I ignored it. I probably shouldn't. And it looks like Justin Bieber caught it earlier because I watched his face. It is not as paralyzed as what I had. So he probably have caught it, earlier. And it's not as severe. But what happens is those 5 facial nerves that come to the eyes, the jaw, the mouth, and the chin, this area, all of those 5 nerves completely died. But the good news is it will grow back. So. Now, mine didn't grow back completely. You can still see that when I smile, this side is not responding as well. My eyes, this one doesn't close as much. And I don't think that would happen to Justin Bieber, but you can't tell. But it will take time for it to grow back.
What was your time frame, Olivia? What sort of time period did it take? I realize you said you're not back to 100% necessarily, but what sort of time frame were you looking at here? Because this, I think, obviously Justin Bieber and you clearly are not the only 2 people who are experiencing this, but if someone is watching now and sort of experiencing this sort of thing, like give them a bit of a timetable of what you experienced.
Actually, there's something also called Bell palsy, which is very similar. Bell palsy, you can go back very quickly, just sometimes a few months. I just remember I kept working and I didn't even notice it just gradually grew back. It just got better and better and better. It could take, it depends because he used his mouth to sing, right, of course, and a lot of facial feature. So I would think it would be less than a year, but I think sometimes it could be just a few months. It depends on, he's much younger than I am. So the younger you are, the faster it is for it to grow back. So it could be really soon. And your last interview talked about stress. I think it's really important. Like, I just want to show that I am, for example, now kayaking, I'm outside, and you see the kayak here. I'm out by the by Lake Ontario. I'm trying to relax a bit more because it's work-life balance. I think he probably worked so hard and stressed himself out quite a bit. There is people that are older are more susceptible. So you can get a shingle shot. The shingle vaccine can actually prevent you from getting Ramsay Hunt.
Wow.
So not only, I want to make sure people know that. So if you're a bit older and you may get shingle, go and get a shingle vaccine. And it's 2-shot, it's simple. And by the way, it has nothing to do with COVID vaccine because I saw some of that.
Right, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
no, it's the chickenpox virus. It's we just have it inside us. Just don't stress yourself out, then you won't get it.
A little self-care indeed, yeah.
Olivia Chow, thank you so
Self-care.
much for joining us this morning. Have fun on your kayak. I really appreciate you sharing your experience with us. Take care.
Thank you.
The Vaughan Pizza Festival's back from pandemic pause with a pie-in-the-sky lineup of great food and entertainment, including Disney and Encanto star Adassa, local American Idol, 4th place finisher, Nicolina from Down Under, Australia's top Italian comedian as well, Joe Avati. Here's a little sample of Joe's work in case you haven't seen him before, and I'm sure you have.
And speaking of Facebook, whose mum is on Facebook? So, people were like, oh my God. Italian mums should not be allowed on Facebook. It causes jealousy between people, let alone Italian kumare. Right, this is my mum. Every time kumare Teresa writes something on Facebook, kumare Maria put a like. When I write something, she not like nothing. And I'm a single guy. I went clubbing in Melbourne. I got, Club 23 at Crown. I got tagged with a picture of a girl. My mum's got to write a comment. I not like this girl.
And we welcome Joy Boy Joe Avati to CP24 Breakfast. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's so
be
good to
back.
have you. Look, you are beloved and renowned around the world. There's something special. There's a bit of a love affair here in Canada that might even go beyond the rest of the planet. How do you explain that?
Well, I was kind of the first person to take ethnic comedy and bring it to North America 20-something years ago. And so all these Canadian Italians were going, geez, he sounds like an Italian from Woodbridge.
Yeah.
Or, well, looks like an Italian from Woodbridge, but sounds like the crocodile hunter. So that was... that was the thing. They couldn't believe it. There's a million Italians in Australia.
Yeah, a lot of Greeks too. So
and
we should
heaps
share
of
that,
Greeks, yeah.
They love you too. Did you come from like a funny family? Were you the class clown? Was that how it all started?
No, I was actually really serious. I was very shy, so I used to sit back and absorb all the observations. Like I could never figure out why we had 2 kitchens. The one we spend $40,000 on and never use, and the one we eat in the basement, or in Australia in the garage. So I made all those sort of observations, and many years later I brought them out onto the show.
Such strong culture, such larger-than-life cultures you both come from, straddling them both, Italian, Australian. Do you have to tailor your shows at all to different audiences around the world, or no? Not
really, no. Just you got to change a few words. Like I've got this. My wife and I, we just had a baby boy, and thank you. And we bought him a cot. Now a cot is not a cot here; it's a crib.
A crib.
So the first time I'm doing these shows, the gag's not working. Right, because the gag's this. Well, we bought him a crib, which is a nice crib, but this thing comes with a 25-year warranty. Right, and I'm like, I know the kid's Italian, but he's got to leave home at some point, right? He can't stay. He can't stay at home for. I mean, these people they're making fun of us.
Get
really.
out of the basement.
Yeah.
So yeah, your material is very observational. I love that you've been referred to as the Italian Seinfeld. That's got to be an honor. I mean, it's the greatest show, and it's a show about nothing. Your work's certainly not about nothing. It's about something.
Yeah, it is. It's all about, well, it's not just, back in the day, it was about growing up ethnic in an English-speaking country. But now, I talk about everything. I mean, having my son recently got married, and I was single for 46 years. And now I got married, I realised that you can't argue with your wife. Yeah. Just you can't. It's like, I figured, when you download a new software program, when you get the software licensing agreement, and it gets too hard and complicated, that's what's like argue. You just press I agree. Just press I agree, You know, and then you're always getting updates because they're always changing their mind. And you know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Am I going to get in trouble for that?
The squint
I'm an
print
Aussie, I
will
can
never
say
get you in
whatever,
trouble.
yeah,
The
yeah.
squint print's good. You know, we're living. I talk about this with all comics. Now, your work is very universal and very
Yeah.
cultural and
Yeah.
clean and continental.
Yeah.
But we're kind of living through this. This Cold War on comedy right
Yeah,
now,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Where there's a lot of concerns about PC and cancel culture
Yeah.
taking its bite out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Which you guys are the ones that sort of are the voice of. So it can woke and joke coexist.
It
There's
can.
the question.
You can joke about anything, but you can't joke to anyone, right?
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Is brilliant, Joe.
And look, look, my show's clean, so I don't swear or anything,
Yep.
but I do get edgy.
Yeah.
Right? And I talk about stereotypes. I said, why can't you talk about stereotypes? There's a reason. Look at Italians, right? What are the three main stereotypes about Italians? That we love cash, that we love concrete, and then in the 80s, every Italian had a bad back and went on compensation, right? You know, and why
You
are
can
these?
say that.
Why do these exist? Because we do love cash. We love concrete that so much we water it in case statues are going to grow. Yeah. And everyone in the 80s knew one uncle who went out with a good shoe and a bad slipper in case compensation people were looking, right?
Okay.
So look, political correctness in comedy is like having health and
Okay.
safety at the boxing match. It doesn't belong.
So those are the three C's. I'm going to add one more. Calcio. Italian, Australian, performing in Canada. Only one of those three is in the World Cup or didn't make the World Cup.
Yeah, Italy.
Did they
didn't-
calchoke?
You try.
Like that?
You like? Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay.
How does that play in your orbit? A lot of soccer fans that are going to be
yeah, look,
crying
you know,
in
we
their
were.
Vegemite.
Look, Australia made it in 2 days
Yeah,
ago.
2 days ago,
Australia-
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be rooting for them now. We'll be rooting for Australia.
Joe Avati, it's been such a pleasure to have you on. I wish we had hours to talk, but you're going to be at the Vaughan Pizza Festival, June 17 and 18, performing quickly. What's your favorite za?
My favourite pizza?
Yeah, how do you like pizza?
I actually like a margarita with extra olives.
Oh,
yeah.
classic.
And look, and I don't mind a ham and pineapple either.
You'll take that.
Even though a lot of people are going to throw
Okay. Canadian
stuff at
invention,
me.
by the way, the Hawaiian.
You told me that. It's
Yeah,
amazing,
excellent.
interesting.
Joe Avati, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks
Good to
for
have
having
live
me.
guests.
Thank you.
Enjoy your show. Enjoy Canada. We love you here.
I love
back.
coming. I love
Keep coming
coming.
back. All right, time for headlines.
I can't believe college is over.
You have a job now, or
We're not allowed to talk about jobs at the bat mitzvah party.
so you either don't have a job or you have a bad job?
How much does a party starter get paid, I wonder?
I have a bad job, yeah.
Honey, I'm not just saying this because I'm
I've
your
been
mother.
there. A 23-year-old Texas filmmaker, Cooper Raiff, co-produced, co-edited, wrote, directed, and stars in Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Just premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York. He's done the whole festival circuit. Starts streaming on Apple TV Plus tomorrow. So young, so accomplished. So let's talk shop with Coop. Good morning. Can I call you Coop, Cooper?
Call me Coop. I love it.
I just
Yes.
did. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to CP24 Breakfast. It's our pleasure to have you. Look, I love the film a lot. You play Andrew in this movie. You recently graduated college. You come home. You live with the family in Jersey. You get a gig as a motivational dancer for a local bar and bat mitzvahs, something I didn't know was even a thing. And then you strike up this sort of unlikely romance with a single mom, Domino, played by Dakota Johnson. Love always finds a way, doesn't it, Coop?
It always does. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it did. Look, I want to talk about your path into making movies. Are you from a showbiz family? Or did parents kind of nudge you into the arts, or is this all you?
Not at all. Yeah, this is all me. My mom is a psychologist. My dad is a lawyer, and they did not nudge me. If anything, they were trying to like, "What are you doing?" And then I was like, "I'm going this way." Yeah.
So, are you a student of film? Did you study this craft, or how much of it was something that you thought, I better like incorporate the academics of movie making as well while I get education?
I watched a lot of movies growing up. That was the big education. But then I went to college, this school called Occidental in Los Angeles, and I studied media arts and culture there. So that was their film major. And I actually dropped out of college.
You
so yes, yeah. But I learned a lot while I was there. And I loved my time there.
Dakota Johnson, Brad Garrett, Leslie Mann. I mean, pretty amazing casting, huh? You must pinch yourself when you just think about being part of it, and it's your movie.
Yes, yeah, we got really lucky. I met Dakota over Zoom, and she had just started her production company, and so it was a perfect moment for her to for this to be the first movie that they were going to produce. And then she's really close with Leslie, and Leslie is like one of my favorite actresses ever, and so I did not think she would play the mother, but Dakota sent in the good word.
Good to have recommendations. Nice tips.
Brad is the best person in the world, so we got lucky.
Just hilarious, heartwarming humans that you aligned yourself with here. So here you are directing others, you're directing a crew, you're directing yourself. That's a lot, but you got to start somewhere, and why not, with your own work? So did you come into this thing, with a kind of your own guidebook or rule book, or did you sort of follow the muse and, let the chips fall?
Yeah, I had zero preconceived notions and felt very inexperienced a lot of the time, but I tried to use that to my advantage. I think it's nice to walk on a set and be the leader and kind of say, hey, I don't know much, and I really want this to be a collaboration, because people do really like to collaborate, so it was kind of nice.
Cool. Now, you shot this thing in Pittsburgh, not Jersey, not even Toronto, where you could have saved some money. How come?
Yeah. We shot in Pittsburgh. I think it was tax credit reasons, but also a couple people who we made the movie with loved shooting in Pittsburgh, and the crew in Pittsburgh was really great. And but we did shoot all of the bar mitzvahs in an abandoned mall. So we were shooting soccer-themed bar mitzvahs in a Habak.
So what was that like? I mean, just, malls are such a weird place and space these days because they're so, I don't know what it's like in Pittsburgh or other places in the States, but they become like ghost towns up here.
Oh, it was a ghost town. Yeah. We shot there for very little money, I assume, because no one was there. I think we had kind of snuck in and we're like, we can do the whole movie here and no one will notice. But yeah, it was a wild ghost town.
Let's talk about the festival circuit, Cooper. You premiered at Tribeca, South by Southwest selection, audience award winner at Sundance. That's pretty awesome. It must be very gratifying for you early in your career.
Very, yes. I feel very lucky and grateful that people liked it and responded to it. Sundance it got canceled in person, but it was virtual, and it was nice the whole experience was in my pajamas, but it was nice to be on Twitter and read some of the reactions. And to win the award, it was so meaningful and people liked the movie, yeah.
That's incredible. It's just amazing. So you're streaming on Apple TV Plus starting Friday, tomorrow. Let's talk a bit about just the whole sort of how movies are delivered and received, transmitted and received these days. COVID, it really accelerated the digitization of everything, society, movie making, more from screening to streaming. And look, TV didn't kill movies when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s. Do you think that the theatrical experience is going to yield more to streaming and become? Will movies become to cinema as vinyl is to downloading?
No, I don't think so. It doesn't feel like that to me. I think streamers are amazing, and I think Apple is the best. But the movie's actually opening in some theaters. I'm in New York right now, and there's 4 theaters that are playing the movie this weekend. And so I think it's going to be a hybrid. But no, I think everyone's going to always want to go to a theater to be in a dark room with other people. But I think it's been so nice that smaller, more independent movies are getting an opportunity to be seen by people, and streamers are able to platform movies in that way.
Right. Cooper Raiff, Cha-Cha Real Smooth is the movie. It is streaming starting tomorrow. Tomorrow on Apple TV Plus. Around the world. Hey, Cooper, it's a pleasure, man. Thanks for talking to us, and I'm sure we'll speak again sometime. Good luck with your career.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Time for a COVID conversation on your Friday morning. Joining us live today is Dr. Susie Hoda, infectious diseases specialist at the University Health Network. Dr. Hoda, great to have you here on this Friday morning. So let's start with this. I'm not sure about the COVID connection to it, but as you're well aware, Ontario emergency room wait times really making a lot of headlines. Yesterday, some new data come out showing significant delays in sort of getting care, receiving care. Is there a COVID connection to this, and what are your sort of concerns or worries about these numbers?
I think COVID has really uncovered a lot of issues that have been brewing for quite some time. And, we were all aware of hallway medicine before this pandemic. those issues are just getting exacerbated because we've got delays that we're trying to catch up on. We've got shortages in healthcare workers, which is probably the biggest issue that's driving some of this. And physical capacity within hospitals has always been really tight. So I do think COVID is related to this. It's been adding to the burden because we've now got another population of people coming in with sickness and requiring hospital care. But it's not the only factor. These are issues that have been longstanding and, like I said, just worsened by the pandemic itself and the effects that it's had on healthcare.
Okay, so to sort of follow up on that, going forward, here we are, we're still in the midst of a pandemic, hopefully closer to the end, getting to the endemic stage rather than the thick of it. We know likely more waves coming. But how is our hospital system sort of set up for the post-COVID world? Have we learned enough lessons from COVID, and can we learn from that? Or is this really going to take investment and money to sort of fix what is broken and what's been, as you sort of highlighted, exacerbated and sort of, has come to the surface yet again because of the pandemic?
I think it's a little bit of both. We've learned how to work together and coordinate, healthcare a lot better. There have been many positive things that have happened, mostly through collaboration and the creativity of the people who've been responding to the pandemic. But I think, the bigger issue is the resources that are needed and the investment, as you mentioned, that's going to be required for us to keep going. Because, COVID right now we're seeing as a very acute issue, but there are also long-term effects, as we know, long-standing, health issues that result from COVID infection, right? And having to deal with that on top of, again, like I said, all of the catch up and trying to deal with backlogs and deferred care. This is really going to put a strain on our healthcare system. And I do think, in my opinion, we need to have more space to do this, more people trained to do it. More importantly, I think, we could always get more creative with space, but, having people to care for patients, but also more appropriately designed healthcare facilities, because this is a new era where we have, an infection that's very infectious that is now amongst us, and we have to be prepared to deal with that appropriately.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get really specific about COVID now. We're hearing more that, likely we're going to be seeing vaccines available for, the population of people under 5 years old, so younger children right now. We've had vaccines available now for about a year and a half or so. This isn't a criticism, certainly not directed to you, but what's taken so long to get us to this point where under fives are finally eligible? And I guess secondly, how important is this ahead of the sort of back to school fall and potentially, another wave?
Yeah, I'll start with the second part of your question first. And I think it's very important. I think, first of all, there are a lot of parents and even children who I think have been waiting and wondering, when is it going to be my turn? So I think this is great. Now that things are a little bit quieter, it's a perfect time to roll out vaccination if approvals come forward soon. And so I would really encourage people to get their young children vaccinated when they become eligible and when it's available to them. Why has it taken this long? Well, I think we often think of young children as just mini adults, and really that's not the case. Their bodies respond to things differently, right? We have to really, really carefully investigate how vaccines work. Getting the right dosage for these vaccines for younger individuals has been a bit challenging to make sure that you get enough of immune response, but also not too many side effects. And of course, evaluating the safety paramount to all of this and making sure that in the younger age groups, you're not going to see unusual side effects, more side effects, things that would have a longer term consequence in such young children. It's got high stakes, as we know. So I think that it's all been good reasons. I don't think that there have been dragging of heels. I think it's been for good reasons that we've seen some delays, and hopefully we'll get to that point where we can roll it out soon.
That all makes sense indeed, Dr. Hoda. Okay, thanks for that. Let's get to viewer questions right now. Jennifer has those this morning. Jen.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, Dr. Hoda. Great of you to join us again. Hope you're having a good Friday. Our first question this morning comes from our viewer, Carol, who has a question about antivirals. She's asking, what is the status of Health Canada's assessment of AstraZeneca's Evusheld antiviral treatment or pre-treatment for high-risk individuals?
So Evusheld's been available. I think it's just been a very limited sort of rollout, and it's been harder to access it perhaps because it is a very distinct group of people that would be eligible for that therapeutic. It's really for people who are severely immune compromised or where vaccine is contraindicated. There's a good reason why they can't get it, such as having a severe allergic reaction. And so it can be accessed really through specific portals in the healthcare system. You have to be connected in with the right healthcare providers to get it. So that is the status of Evusheld. And, I guess it speaks to a bigger question if the therapeutics are still somewhat limited in general in terms of what's out there and where you can access them. Although, a lot of work's been done to try and get other antivirals like Paxlovid out there.
Okay, I said Evusheld, but it's Evusheld, so thanks for correcting me there. Dr. Hoda, next question comes from Rita, who is asking, I am on day 7 of testing positive, only a cough left. Am I still contagious? How much longer do I have to be isolated?
It's a very good question. And, we have rules around, the public health isolation guidance. And for people who are fully vaccinated and not immune compromised, generally 5 days is what people are told to self-isolate at home as like the highest risk period. But there is data out there to show that people can shed virus that's viable. In other words, it can be infectious to others, up to 8 or 9 days after they've started their symptoms. So I think there is some variability for sure. We're not all the same individual walking around, or our systems deal with this differently. And so, symptoms may or may not help to guide that decision. Some people have put forward the idea of using rapid antigen tests to try and get a better idea of whether there's actual infectious virus that you're shedding, if it's still positive on the antigen test, and it's perhaps more likely that you're infectious. But the data is a little bit mixed on that. I don't know that you can just hang your hat only on your rapid antigen test. So I would say if you're really worried, if you're going to be around people who are vulnerable, wait 10 days, because that's pretty certain that you as long as you're not immune compromised, that you would not be infectious to others. For other more routine events, like I said, the public health guidance is 5 days as long as you're not immune compromised and you're fully vaccinated.
Okay, Dr. Hoda, that does it for our questions this morning. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend.